This video was made possible by SeatGeek. For $20 off your first purchase, go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code HAI. Welcome to Las Vegas, the oasis that went from a settlement to an outpost to a haven for construction workers on the Hoover Dam to blow off some dam steam. Sin City can and does tolerate plenty, but there's one cardinal sin that the city just doesn't tolerate: cheating. So what do poor multi-billionaire casino owners do when someone starts beating the house? Well, cheating in a casino is actually a felony, although in most cases, depending on the severity, perpetrators are just escorted out. Anytime a casino encounters a cheater, they take down their information and pass on their names to paid agencies that compile and look into the cheaters. The most well-known and perhaps notorious of these is GRIFFIN Investigations. Founded in 1967 by Robert R. Griffin and his wife at the time, Beverly, this mom-and-pop detective agencies considered themselves a white hat in the gambling world. They're the good guys, but of course, so is the guy that made Scrubs Season 9, according to the guy who made Scrubs Season 9. Apparently, Robert Griffin had a gift for remembering faces and kept a log of criminals and cheaters in a 3-ring binder called the Griffin Book. At first, Griffin was reluctant to go digital due to a mistrust of computers, but his wife eventually convinced him to work with modern technology, and the book grew into a multi-volume database with dossiers on known cheaters in the gambling world updated in real time. If a cheater was in the area, Griffin's clients would receive a fax outlining the cheater's most recent alias, height, weight, date of birth, and security photos of them from where they were last spotted. But Griffin gained his reputation as the expert after taking down the infamous MIT blackjack team in the early 90s. This MIT blackjack team used the movie cliché technique of card counting. There's even a whole movie about the team, with Kevin Spacey, who's clearly a good actor since he convincingly played a law-abiding moral citizen. Card counting, you see, is the fully legal process of gaining an advantage while gambling by counting cards. In blackjack, players need a combined card value higher than the dealer's, but that value can't exceed 21 or else you're out. There are fixed amounts of cards and decks involved, so card counting is the practice of weighing your bets based off the odds of the next card while keeping in mind the value of the cards on the table. Since players are using math and logic, this isn't technically cheating, but it does label card counters as advantage players, which is casino speak for nerds that lose us money. Casinos in Vegas are legally allowed to ask card counters to beat it and bar them from returning, as long as there's no other prejudice involved. It's easy enough to ban one player, but it's tougher to try and ban teams of card counters, which is exactly why the MIT blackjack team was founded. After having existed off and on for years since players, graduated, the team was reborn in the early 90s as a registered business run by 3 of the former players. This team legally raised $1 million from investors to gamble away and win back, which is a pretty good sign that their methods were reliable. In the 2 years after its rebirth, the team grew to 80 people and their players simultaneously hit casinos all around the world, winning millions. Whenever the casino would ban the members they caught, new members would take their place like a Hydra head, or interns. Soon, the members of the MIT blackjack team found it impossible to go into a casino unrecognized. They even tried disguise and drag. Unable to get in anywhere, the team found out that they'd been outed by GRIFFIN Investigations. Once Griffin had realized that the brilliant MIT blackjack team were not brilliant enough to leave out their Cambridge, Massachusetts addresses in their hotel reservations, they entered all MIT students into their database just to be safe. Simple solution, but it worked. With their identities blown and wigs snatched, the MIT team found it impossible to play, so it was dissolved by 1994. Griffin's legacy, however, didn't stay golden. In 2000, Advantage players James Grosjean and Michael Russo were arrested while playing at Caesars Palace under the charge of cheating after winning over $18,000 from an inexperienced dealer at poker. Though they were experienced players, everything they were doing was legal. The officers, however, believed that they were using illegal means based off information given to them by Griffin. Griffin's page on Russo categorized him as a known cheater and card bender. Russo disputed this, and the pair took the case to court. A jury agreed that the entries had been libel, and Griffin had to pay $25,000 in punitive damage to Grosjean and Russo. Soon after, GRIFFIN Investigations filed for bankruptcy. In 2008, Beverly Griffin said they'd been caught up in payments and that she'd taken over for her ex-husband in 2003. Robert R. Griffin died in 2016, although GRIFFIN Investigations is still running, but its site hasn't been updated since the early 2000s. James Grosjean, however, was entered into the Blackjack Hall of Fame in 2006, and he takes personal credit for the downfall of GRIFFIN Investigations. If you've been banned from all the Vegas casinos because you're just too smart, it's okay because there are plenty of shows and events to see there. The biggest crime in Vegas, or really anywhere for that matter, is some ticket prices. SeatGeek fixes this by aggregating tickets for sale from all over the internet, listing them in one place, and telling you whether each price is a good deal or a bad deal. They even show you a view of what the field or stage will look like from where you're sitting. Best of all, you can buy your first tickets from SeatGeek at the link in the description for $20 off by using the code HAI at checkout.